In the topic of transonic aerodynamics, we will have a few lectures. This is the very first lecture on introduction. So in the introductory material, we will see what is transonic flow and what happens in transonic flow. So showing here is a Boeing 737-800 aircraft, and this is a very popular aircraft. A lot of airlines use this aircraft for their short-haul route. And showing here, we know the Mach number, cruise Mach number of Boeing 737 is 0.785, and later on we will know this is a transonic Mach number, and so you can see the transonic flow is actually very close to our daily life. Okay, so another aircraft, Gulfstream G700, so this is a business jet, and the maximum cruise Mach number of this business jet is 0.925, and we can see it's about 1.4 larger than the Boeing 737, and also later on you will see this is a transonic aircraft, and maybe most of us fly with Boeing 737, but it's very rare to be a passenger of this business jet. Okay, so another aircraft shown here. So it is Cessna 172 aircraft, and we know it's a low-speed aircraft, and the true airspeed for this Cessna 172 is 130 miles per hour, which is equivalent to 58.1 meters per second. And so we're quite familiar with this aircraft, and we've done the flight dynamic analysis on this aircraft. Do you remember in the last year? Okay, so this is a typical aircraft, and now we see three different types of aircraft. One passenger jet, the other is a business jet, and the third is a low-speed aircraft. Now let's do some exercise. Spot the difference. And on the left-hand side is a Boeing 737. On the right-hand side is a Cessna 172. And both are the top view of the two aircrafts. And what kind of difference can you spot? So I give you 1 second. Perhaps you may notice the engines are different, right? And so Boeing 737 use 2 jet engines, but Cessna 172 use a propeller engine. So that's one difference, which means the jet engine can fly faster than the propeller engine, but it's not very relevant to our transonic aerodynamics. So what else difference can we spot? Now we can notice the Boeing 737 has a swept angle for the wing. On the other hand, Cessna 172, the wing is straight. So one wing we call the swept wing, the other wing for the Cessna 172 is straight wing. And we can see this is a swept wing for the Boeing 737, and the Cessna 172 has a straight wing. And do you know why the Boeing 737 uses a swept wing, but the Cessna 172, which flies slower, uses a straight wing? So this is a question we should be able to answer when we finish the subject of transonic aerodynamics. Now let's define the different flow regions. We have subsonic, transonic, and apparently supersonic flow. For subsonic, usually the Mach number is less than 0.72, and for supersonic, apparently Mach number is larger than 1. Transonic flow which means the Mach number is between 0.72 and Mach 1.0. And strictly speaking, transonic flow is part of the subsonic flow, but why we pick it out separately? So this is a very important question, but I'm not answering this question now, but later in the next lecture, we will be able to answer why we want to separate the transonic flow from the subsonic flow and study it dedicatedly. Okay, so and we already realized there are differences in the aircraft types. So for subsonic aircraft, I again use the Cessna 172 as an example, and we know it low-speed aircraft use mostly the straight wing. And for transonic aircraft, this is a Gulfstream G700. It uses a swept wing. And for supersonic flow, which flies at with Mach number larger than 1, the aircraft is also quite different from the transonic aircraft. And showing here is a boom and concept supersonic passenger aircraft, which is under development now. And also there is also supersonic passenger aircraft, and the famous one is a Concorde. And although it retired nowadays, but it's really a legacy. Yeah. Okay, so for supersonic aircraft, and this is a Schillerian photo of the Concorde, and also this is a famous NASA Schillerian image, full-scale Schillerian image of a supersonic fighter jet, and we can see there are oblique shockwaves from the aircraft's leading edge, and also where there is surface deflection. So in supersonic flow, we always have the oblique shockwave from the aircraft airframe. And differently in the transonic flow, so showing here is a color Schillerian image of a transonic aircraft. And we can see instead of having oblique shockwave, the shockwave angle over the aircraft is nearly normal to the airframe. And also we don't have oblique shockwave from the nose, aircraft nose, which is different from the supersonic aircraft. So you can see the transonic flow over the aircraft is quite different from the supersonic flow over the aircraft. So now we can have better understanding about the transonic flow from the geometries of the aircraft, and also from the flow visualization of the aircraft. We can see the difference. And actually, if we are lucky enough, and sometimes when you fly, you can actually see the shockwave over the wing. Here is a video from YouTube. I just copied it here, and the resources can be found through the link. Let's have a look at the video and see what happens to the aircraft. How can we observe the shockwave? Okay, it is moving, so apparently it's the right wing, and we can see a few vortex generators. Now it's zoomed in, and we can see there is a oscillating interface over the outboard surface, and it's oscillating, so moving forward and backward. And now the other increase the contrast, we can see it more clearly. So actually, we can see the shockwave over the passenger aircraft. Okay, so you see, and if we are lucky enough in a good weather, and we can see the shockwave over the aircraft, passenger aircraft. So this is in the full-scale visualization, I would say. And showing here is shockwave, normal shockwave, and established over airfoil-like surface in the transonic flow. And so this is established in the lab environment. So I did the measurement, and you can see the shockwave is formed over a curved surface, which is like half of the airfoil. Maybe you can treat it as the top surface. And in the wind tunnel, the inlet flow is about Mach 0.54, but once it's because of the flow curvature, flow surface curvature, the flow gradually accelerates to Mach 1. Before the shockwave, we have slightly higher Mach number higher than 1. So if you're interested in this research, and you can go through the link and find a paper to read. Apart from the shockwave, and also we can see the brighter region, thinner brighter region over the flow surface. That's a turbulent boundary layer, and since a shockwave appears, we will have the shockwave turbulent boundary layer interactions, and this is also very interesting topic. Okay, so this is an introduction of the transonic flow. Now we know the definition of transonic regime, and the Mach number range is from 0.72 to Mach 1.0, and why. So roughly, we should know why we want to separate the transonic flow from the subsonic regime, although they are both less than Mach 1.0. Okay, so let's close this introduction.